Hello, and thank you for attending Collaboration Business Consulting webinar today. Why being an entrepreneur is killing your business. And so good morning to those of you on the West Coast and good afternoon to those of you Central and East Coast. My name is Michael Gunther, and I'm the founder of Collaboration Business Consulting. And it's kind of interesting. I started learning about entrepreneurs at a young age. And at the age of about 8 or 9, my best friend Sal Compitelli and I started building businesses. And part of that was because I grew up with 16 siblings. I'm one of 17 children. And if you wanted any extracurricular activity, you had to start your own business. And so my experience as an entrepreneur goes back many, many years. And I've been very fortunate over the last 15 plus years. I've worked with over 500 businesses, helped start over 300 businesses, and really work with thousands of leaders who are really looking for breakthrough performance to build profitable, scalable businesses. You know, it's interesting, my own journey as an entrepreneur. I saw this image and it reminded me of what it might be like as an entrepreneur. You're always going up, but you have these twists and turns, and your goal is always to be reaching to new levels. And as you do that, hopefully you're learning along the way. It's interesting, about 5 years ago, after working about 10 years and building my business in its current format, I was burnt out. It was post-recession. I was ready to close my doors. And I left on an 8-week sabbatical, off the grid, no email, no phone, no communication. I didn't even read the paper. And my whole time there was about trying to figure out what's next for me in my life, and thinking I was going to come back and close my business. About midway through this sabbatical, it was interesting. I started to realize I didn't mind doing the work I did. I just didn't like what we were doing as an organization or the way I was leading as an entrepreneur. And I actually truly love inspiring, educating, and empowering individuals to reach breakthrough performance. And I began to put together a plan of getting back to my why and the purpose of why I love helping these enthusiastic leaders and entrepreneurs really grow to that next level in their business and next level as a leader. So when I came back from my vacation, I approached my team and I said, look, let's start looking at why is it we've worked with hundreds of businesses, and why is it that some of these businesses continue to thrive and grow and others are still stuck to where they always were? What are those attributes? What are the behaviors? What are the systems? What are the things that really either move people forward or hold people back? And through this process, we've identified many different things. And today, I'm going to identify and share 3, what I think are probably the top 3 issues that we discovered through our research and what it really takes to move forward from being an entrepreneur to really being a leader of a thriving business. Because most entrepreneurs actually often are in a position and they playing as an entrepreneur is actually killing their business. It's not allowing their team to grow. It's not allowing their business to thrive. 3 of the top areas that we identified, one is called ego tripping. I'm going to talk about that. It's about your ego as an entrepreneur. I know you have all the answers. I know you've built this on your own. I know it was your idea and you're building it and you have all these other ideas that you want to do. But the ego tripping is one of the things that we see as one of the biggest areas that holds leaders back. The second thing is chasing sexy. If you talk to any entrepreneur, I'm sure many of you on the phone already probably have 5 or 6 other ideas on how to expand your business, grow your business, new business opportunities you want to do. Most entrepreneurs have this creative drive, but chasing sexy can also help prevent you from really growing that business to the next level, to really capitalize on your current opportunity, but more importantly, capitalize on future opportunities. The next thing that we found is distrusting trust. kind of an interesting play on words. But, at the heart of every relationship is trust. And as an entrepreneur, as you're bringing people in to join you, whether it's contractors, whether it's employees, whether it's suppliers, whether it's customers, your level of trust and being able to build trust with those folks will accelerate your growth or hinder your growth. So I'm going to talk about what we've seen with these leaders that have really grown their businesses versus killing their business, and how it relates to building relationships and trust with those around you. Now, evolution brings change and yields breakthrough performance. And we discovered through our research is that the leaders that are open to change, open to having all the answers, truly open to feedback, and they realize that they're part of the issue. It's not the team, it's not the economy, it's not the customers. They don't blame the competition. They understand that they, at the end of the day, are responsible to learning and shifting to become a better leader to grow. And so if you're not open to evolution and change, I assume many of you are today, you're taking time out of your day to be on this call, that truly yields breakthrough performance. So let's jump into a couple of these. Let's talk about ego tripping. Now, ego tripping is an interesting thing. There are a lot of strong egos, as you can imagine, from entrepreneurs. Think about it. Steve Jobs had this amazing ego. In fact, his ego initially got him fired because it was all about him and his direction and where he wanted to go. Versus when he came back to Apple, he understood he needed to still lead and to drive, but he also understood that he needed to build people around him and listen to people around him. And he kind of moved from this me to we, which allowed Steve to take Apple to the growth that they've had today versus just driving it his way. The other thing, when you look at these stories, like the gentleman from American Apparel, dove down there, Charney, his ego was so large that he would not listen to anyone. Even his board fired him, and then he came back trying to take a hostile takeover, and he drove American Apparel into the ground financially. So what is ego tripping really? So what we often find with ego tripping is a lack of clarity of vision. As an entrepreneur business owner, what are you really trying to achieve? How are you anticipating growing? What do you really want to do to move your business forward? And more importantly, who else is it going to evolve to make that happen? Do you need a strong management team? Do you need a strong research team? Do you need a strong set of engineers? We often find without this lack of clarity of vision, entrepreneurs get caught up like they have all the answers and they have all the abilities. If you have a clear vision of where you're trying to go, written down, and really outline what it's going to take to get there, you'll start realizing the gaps that you have on your team and the gaps that you have in yourself that need to get resolved to allow you to grow. The other area is your personal blind spots. I mentioned earlier through our research, we found that the leaders that were self-aware about their strengths and their blind spots were the strongest leaders that move things forward. A lot of times you see people getting caught up in their ego and they get controlling, and those are really just signs of insecurities. They're defense mechanisms. And so if you find yourself getting controlling or defensive when people give you feedback, you should look at yourself and determine, are they hitting a chord here? So defense mechanism is protection mode. So are they hitting a chord with this feedback? Or do I need to sit back and really listen to this because my leadership role, not with pitfalls and not doing things well, is preventing the team from moving forward? Understanding your personal blind spots and more importantly, how to supplement those personal blind spots is critical in moving business forward and yourself getting out of that entrepreneurial role. The next one, which I spoke to already, is the whole me to we. Are you focused on you and it's your decision and you're driving it? Or are you focused on creating a collaborative work environment? an environment where everyone feels part of your vision, where everyone can give feedback, where everybody can be making decisions, and everybody is trying to move forward to help build your wealth as an entrepreneur and help build the company's initiatives. This me to we, as easy as it sounds to do, is very hard. I know my own personal experience. I remember many years ago, I had two of my employees sit me down, Peyton and Caitlin, and they wanted me to share with them the financials of the business because they wanted to help figure it out to get us to where we needed to go. And as an entrepreneur, I was going, oh, I can't share that. How can I share that? That's secretive. But it wasn't. And once I shared it with them, they helped become part of the solution. It was no longer me trying to figure this out, it became a we trying to figure it out. And I think entrepreneurs are used to, when they start their business, being the sole solution provider, the sole person making decisions. And so they are used to controlling and managing that way. This me to we is probably the biggest thing here, the ego tripping, that will prevent you from moving forward. You should ask yourself, what decisions are you making every day that someone else on my team could be making? You need to ask yourself that. What are things that you're involved in today that you shouldn't be involved in? That someone on your team should be doing that. If you're not shifting those roles, shifting those decision-making responsibilities, you will cap out in your growth. We see it all the time. These organizations cap their growth. They go up, they come back down to the competency of the owner. And that's where being an entrepreneur could be killing your business, in the area of ego tripping. You may have some questions. I encourage you, as I go through this, I am going to have an opportunity for you to ask questions. And so feel free to post them, and we'll be lining them up at the end to respond to some of those questions. So I just want to make sure you understood there will be some interaction besides me just speaking to all of you today. The next thing is chasing sexy. Oh my gosh. Isn't every entrepreneur, as I mentioned earlier, get excited about the future? They get excited about these new opportunities. They see opportunities. They see trends. They see how their product can go from A to Z. They get excited about chasing what I call sexy. The challenge with that is there's three areas that prevent and hinder organizations from moving forward. Not understanding your stage of growth. And I'm going to go through this in a second, but there are actually 7 stages of growth that businesses go through. And through each stage, there's things you need to do to create a foundation and moving forward. The next one is remain razor focused. What happens, I've seen it many times with organizations, they're not hitting their revenue numbers. So they look for new services to offer, new things to provide. They're not generating the type of clients they want. So they feel like they have to go buy another company that has those clients. What happens when you're not remaining razor focused on what you're good at and building a foundation, a profitable foundation, trying to just jump to other areas and trying to do other things and other opportunities just doesn't happen. You don't have so much energy. Your lack of consistent leadership, growth, structure, management, and accountability with your team towards a specific product, service, or goal is, without that, you won't grow. With that, you'll get breakthrough performance. It amazes me, we've worked with a lot of companies. One of our clients we've worked with is a company called Morris & Garitano. Carrie and Brendan are third generation running this business, brother-sister team, smart, hardworking. We worked with them and we were able to help them. They were wearing, probably each of them as a CEO and COO, probably 10 to 12 different hats. Everyone was coming to them for issues and things moving forward. And they were looking, do we grow through acquisition? Do we need to add to different service offerings? And really, when they got remained razor focused on they're good at what they do, they've been able to grow. In fact, they grew to the point where after being in business for over 100 years, they just made Inc.'s fastest growing company list this last year. They also made the best place to work in their industry for the United States. And part of it is They understood their growth stage, how they need to shift as a leader, and how they needed to remain razor focused. And nurture your company towards growth. Growth doesn't happen overnight. I think there's a mistake that we see in the magazines and the news media. We see a company go from 0 to 20 million in a year. We see companies, these unicorn companies are called, where they have $1 billion valuation within 3 years. But often that's a very, very small percent of people. And often most organizations that you see success have been going at it for 5, 10 years and have built a solid foundation and really nurtured for growth. And I talked about companies and the stage you're at. If you look at this model, this is from the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City. They've been researching entrepreneurship for over 40 plus years. And they've defined 7 stages that businesses go through. And you can see there's different places they go. You can exit at any time. The green arrows in the middle, you can go from startup to rapid growth and down to innovation and decline. Most of the clients we work with are in this growth and rapid growth. And rapid growth being that you're growing at least double your industry average. So if your industry is growing 20%, you're growing 40% or more. So growth and rapid growth is where we see most entrepreneurs struggle, because that's where you have to start putting in structure. You have to put in rules. You have to put in processes. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to become corporate, we hear. Corporate is like this horrible connection that we are becoming impersonal, too structured. That's why they went and started their own business. They didn't want to become corporate. And I remind these entrepreneurs that you're not corporate, but you need process. You need structure. You need accountability. You need clear budgeting and financial reporting to really allow you to make better decisions and to allow you as a business owner, actually. The ironic thing is that by putting in the right management team and structures through the growth and rapid growth, you as a business owner actually get to get back to the creative side of growing your business and get out of the day-to-day of running your business. But it's that transition from doing everything, building your team, growing your management team, and getting back to really being a CEO of your business that is one of the hardest transitions for leaders to make, because they have to change, their company has to change, and it, as with any great growth, it takes a lot of stretching and pushing to make that happen. So chasing sexy, if you're always looking for new ideas and always starting a new division, so you're always in that early stage, without laying a foundation to get in the growth and rapid growth stage, it's really hard for businesses to get leverage and to truly grow. The last area of the 3 things I want to talk about today is distrusting trust. Trust is truly the foundation of every relationship. Think of your personal life and your work life. The best relationships, you have the best trust. And it's interesting to me because often leaders or entrepreneurs forget that you're working with a team of people who want to have a strong relationship, which is based on trust in the workplace. And they sometimes act differently or treat people differently than they would in their personal life. And I remind them that people are people. And if you want to get people surrounding around you to help build your dream, your vision, your wealth, trust is the foundation. And I see entrepreneurs who aren't growing constantly putting chinks in the armor of their employees when they're having distrust in various actions they're taking as an owner. You can see by creating trust, you've seen it. It creates a collaborative work environment. People are working hard together, wanting to work, willing to speak up, willing to challenge. If people aren't willing to challenge you, you have to ask, am I really creating a trustful environment? Because you don't have all the answers. You don't do everything right. I hate to tell you that. But your team, if you build trust, they will tell you how to maybe go to the next level as a leader and as an organization. They will go to bat for you. I've seen this time and time again. I have people tell me, oh, I don't feel like my team's bought into where I'm wanting to go. And gosh, I have this great management team, but they're not producing like I want them to produce. And I go directly to where are we breaking trust within the organization? Because when trust is there, you get profitability and scalability. Without trust, it just doesn't work. There's a gentleman named David D. Wolf from Three Pillar Global, and he trusts trust. And what I mean by that, he started to hear there were some people not trusting the direction of the organization, and he has hundreds of employees. So he started going out and having lunches, just asking people, what do they distrust? What are we missing in terms of our communication? He let them ask him anything. And through that process, he's been able to create this whole open venue of people giving ideas on improvement, giving ideas on what's not working with management, giving ideas on how to improve customer service, all because he was willing to sit and listen. And if you as an entrepreneur are so busy in the day-to-day and you haven't built your team to build trust, and you haven't been able to shift into that CEO role like David did, you'll never be able to really listen to what's happening and to really grow your business to that next level. There's a gentleman at Forever 21, the CEO, talk about lack of trust. When the Affordable Care Act came out, he moved all his employees to 29.5 hours a week of employment, so he didn't have to pay any health insurance to everybody. He continued to break trust, and it was all financially driven for him and not for the employees or the customers. Thus, financially bankrupt, lost money, huge turnover issues. What is that all costing him? He may have gotten some short-term gain, but the trust he broke and lack of trust didn't allow him to create a sustainable, profitable business. We actually discovered when I got back from my sabbatical, when we did our research, that there's actually 7 core areas of building a collaborative work environment that either break or build trust. We actually have an assessment that we use to go through this. And if you look at this distrusting trust, each one of these areas as a leader, you need to measure to say, do we have a clear vision? Do people know where we're going? Do they know what their role is in that? Do we have clear expectations? Do we have clear communication? Who's reporting to who? Do we have clear KPIs and accountability measurements in place? Are we really developing our people? Are we allowing innovation? And are we creating balance for our employees in the workplace? Without those things, all of these things, each one brings a chink of armor of trust with your chink in the armor with the trust of your employees. So if you're not clear on the vision, chink, another chink in the armor. People are less trustful of you as a leader. We had a tech company come to us. They're having a lot of retention issues, and we did our assessment, and they thought it was all about pay because everyone said they're leaving because of pay. And they're going to change all their pay structure. But what we found, it wasn't pay. People had, they were not clear on their vision of the company, not clear on their department goals. There was no accountability in project management. They weren't clear on their roles. There was so much confusion at the beginning of the trust cycle here that's why people were leaving. Once they started to put some structure in place and accountability and clear expectations and clear vision, retention improved. And they were about to change their whole compensation structure because that's what they thought was breaking the trust. It was actually the other areas. As a leader, if you're truly going to grow a profitable, sustainable business, you're only going to do it through the people around you. At the end of the day, if you don't change your way of leading, you'll not be able to ensure the scalability of your business and the sustainability. You can continue doing it your way. You can continue not trusting people. You can continue not playing at the stage of your business, and that'll be fine. But you'll be one of those clients that we studied that just stays and never really grows to that next level of growth. I do want to thank you. I know our time is short today, and I do want to thank you for participating in our webinar. I do have a few questions that have come in. So if you have a few more minutes, I'm going to go ahead and just respond to some of these questions. If we don't get to your question, we will, some folks on my team or myself will reach out to help respond to any other questions you might have. The first one's from Stephanie Kroll. And Stephanie said, my business is growing rapidly. What is the biggest risk in the growth and rapid growth stages? I think the biggest risk in the growth and rapid growth stages for an entrepreneur is not letting go. There's a thing called, there's two things called a leadership pipeline. And it says each layer, where should your role be in making decisions within the organization? And most entrepreneurs, we call dipping down the leadership pipeline. They're not letting people take responsibility or accountability for their functions, and they keep trying to go down there and making the decisions and controlling people's day-to-day functions. And it may be small things, but they add up. We often see that the entrepreneur is the bottleneck. It's because they're not letting people make decisions or go down the leadership pipeline, and they don't have the clear process or structures in place. You know, as you get more people, you need clear responsibility and structures so everybody understands. Hope that helps, Stephanie. The next one is from Matt Gillen. I want to be able to delegate, but I don't trust my team to get the job done correctly. What is your advice? Look, your people are going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. If you're not allowing your people to make mistakes and learning from those mistakes, you'll never grow. Think of in your own career. I'm sure there's mistakes you made, and I'm sure they maybe cost your employer money or even yourself as an entrepreneur, but I bet you learn from those mistakes. We got to give our people the ability to make mistakes. If you do not give your people the ability to make mistakes and learning from those mistakes, they won't take on responsibility and they won't make decisions. So when I'm hearing when someone doesn't trust their job to get their job done correctly, you might need something like what we call a freedom scale. And the freedom scale allows us to assess what level of decision-making capability you have on this function or role based on my trust level with you, with my goal to get you to trust level 1 where you can just make decisions on your own. We treat people without giving them responsibility, but we don't set them up to be successful in the decision-making process. Maybe you just want them to come up with solutions and you're going to decide. But next time they can decide and they're going to inform you on that same situation. People need to learn. You know, Abraham Lincoln, it took him 14 times before he got elected to his first office. Thomas Edison over 1,000 times from the light bulb, and each time they learned. Your employees who are making mistakes, you should praise them for making a decision. What do we learn from it? How can we teach other people from that so we don't have those same mistakes and move forward? The next question came from Stuart Fowler. I pay my team very competitively, but I have had a lot of turnover issues. My recommendation, Stuart, I talked about it earlier with the collaborative work environment assessment. Pay may not be an issue. Maybe they're having issues with the management. You know, Gallup says that 2/3 of employees would be willing to go work somewhere else for less money just to get a better manager. So if you have a lot of people leaving, but you feel you're paying competitively, the issue then is management. How you're leading them, how you're managing them, the development, the coaching, the accountability. And so I would look there first before I look at changing pay. And I have time for one more question, and that is for Patty Kane. Patty says, I'm so overwhelmed. How do I find time to work on my business? There's a thing we call WOTB time, work on the business time, WOTB time. So WOTB time is, and that came from John Casey Construction, one of our past clients. Got to give him credit. And John, working on your business time, we recommend as business owners and leaders, you need to be spending at least 4 hours a week on working on your business time. This is no email, no phone, but you're analyzing your numbers, you're analyzing your team, you're looking at how we're doing on our strategic initiatives. Where do I need to do to get us moving forward in the marketplace? Are we moving forward on our 5-year plan? It is your thinking time. And in our life of going 24/7, leaders don't take enough thinking time. And with thinking time, you'll be able to really move your organization forward. Just taking time out of your day to think, and not in the shower, on the way to work, actually blocked out time, and let your team know you're using that time. So working on your business time, Your manager should also be working on the business time, that they can be analyzing how their team is doing, how they're doing against your department initiatives. Maybe they're doing 2 hours a week of blocked out time. Treat yourself as if you were your best customer. Because if you were with your best customer, you would not have interruptions, you would not take phone calls, you would not be reviewing emails. You'd be focused just on that customer and their needs. So treat yourself as if you were your own best customer. I am sorry we don't have any time for any additional questions right now. We will respond to I see we have a bunch of other questions that we will respond to. Also, if you're interested in growing and scaling your business, please contact us. We'd love to talk to you. Now, our services aren't for everybody. When I say that, we're about building growth companies and leaders that have breakthrough performance. We're truly about inspiring, educating, empowering those proactive leaders to achieve breakthrough performance for themselves, for their team, and their companies. Not everyone's up for the challenge. It is hard work. It's worth it. Every year we have 6 to 10 of our clients on Inc.'s fastest growing list. They continue to grow. We just did a study, and after 3 years of working with us throughout that 3-year period, even if we stopped working with them after we finished our engagement, most of our clients have grown over 332% over that period of time. And so if you're interested in growing your business, are willing to do what it takes, give us a call. You can reach out to Rochelle as well on our team. We'd love to just give you a complimentary 30-minute consultation, learn more about your business, and see if you're really, truly willing to quit being an entrepreneur that's killing your business and being an entrepreneur that's building a thriving business. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope we have an opportunity to get together again. Take care.